9.5 is arithmetic sequences as linear functions. An arithmetic sequence is a numerical pattern that increases or decreases at a constant rate called the common difference. If you will look at the example, from 3 to 5, we added 2. From 5 to 7, we added 2. From 7 to 9, we added 2. So our common difference is 2. In this next example, 33 to 29, we subtracted 4. And from 25 to 25, we subtracted 4. From 25 to 21, we subtracted 4. So our common difference is negative 4. Example 1, determine whether the sequence is an arithmetic sequence. From negative 4 to negative 2, we added 2. From negative 2 to 0, we added 2. From 0 to 1, we only added 1. From 1 to 2, we only added 1. Your common difference, or your D, has got to be constant. And in this sequence, it is not constant. So it is not an arithmetic sequence. Not an arithmetic sequence. Example B, before I can determine, I need to get a common denominator. So I'm going to rename all of my fractions with a common denominator of 16. 2 goes into 16 8 times, so 1 times 8 is 8. 8 goes into 16 2 times, so 5 times 2 is 10. 4 goes into 16 4 times, so 3 times 4 is 12. And 16 goes into 16 1 time, so 13 times 1 is 13. Now it's really easy to see. From 8/16 to 10 over 16, I add 2 over 16. From 10 over 16 to 12 over 16, I also add 2 over 16. But from 12 over 16 to 1 over 16, I add 1 over 16. So D is not constant, therefore it is not an arithmetic sequence. Example C, from negative 26 to negative 22, I added 4. From negative 22 to 18, I added 4. And from negative 18 to negative 14, I also added 4. So D is constant, therefore it is an arithmetic sequence. Example 2, find the next 4 terms of the arithmetic sequence. Well, first we have to determine our D. From 15 to 9, what did we do? We subtracted 6. From 9 to negative 3, we also subtracted 6. And from 3 to negative 3, we subtracted 6. So my D is negative 6. So if I keep subtracting 6 every time, I'll get the next 4 terms. So negative 3 minus 6 is a negative 9. And then negative 9 and a minus 6 is a negative 15. Negative 15 minus 6 is a negative 21, and then subtract 6 and I get a negative 27. Example B, my common difference from 9.5 to 11, I had to add 1.5. From 11 to 12.5, I had to add 1.5. So my common difference is 1.5. Therefore, my next term, 14 plus 1.5, is 15.5. Then if I add 1.5 again, I get 17. Add 1.5 again, I get 18.5. And add 1.5 again, I get 21. Example 2, find the next 3 terms of the arithmetic sequence. Before I can calculate my common difference, I need to get a common denominator. My common denominator is going to be 8. So I'm going to rename all these fractions with a common denominator of 8. 4 goes in 8 2 times, so 3 times 2 is 6. 8 goes in 8 1 time, so 1 times 7 is 7. 1 turns into 8 over 8. And I bring down the 9. If your denominator doesn't change, neither does your numerator. So right here, I had to add 1/8. So my next term is 10/8, then it's 11/8, and then 12/8. Now, I need to reduce my fractions. So 10 over 8 can be reduced down to 5 over 4. I can't reduce 11 over 8, so I'm going to bring that down. And 12 over 8, I'm going to reduce that down by 4 and get 3/2. So that is my next three terms. In each term, an arithmetic sequence can be expressed in the terms of the first term. The first term is a sub 1. So it's just going to be a sub 1. The second term is a sub 2. To get the second term, we add the comma difference to a sub 1. To get the third term, which is a sub 3, we add a sub 1 plus the common difference plus the common difference again. We just keep adding the common difference to each from the previous term, which would be 2d. Because d plus d is 2d. The fourth term is the first term plus 2d plus another d, which would be 3d. So we keep adding a d every time. So if I asked you for the fifth term, it would be a sub 5, which is the first term, plus 4d. Notice the pattern. It is always one less than whatever term we're talking about, which leads us to the formula. The nth term is the first term plus whatever term we're talking about minus 1 times the difference. So this is the formula that you have to have memorized. Example 3, write an equation for the nth term of the arithmetic sequence. Okay, first thing we need is the formula for the arithmetic sequence. The formula is a sub n is equal to a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. Always write the formula down first. Now let's plug in what we know. We don't know our a sub n. We do know our first term. Our first term is negative 12. We don't know the nth because it says write the equation for the nth term. So n stays in minus 1 times d. Now we have to go over here and look to see what our common difference is. From negative 12 to negative 8, we added 4. From negative 8 to negative 4, we added 4. From negative 4 to 0, we added 4. So my common difference is 4. Now I need to simplify this. So I'm going to do the distributive property. That's 4 times n is 4n. And 4 times negative 1 is a negative 4. So let's clean this up a little bit. Always write your variable first. So that's 4n. And then I'm going to combine negative 12 and a negative 4 is a negative 16. That is the equation for the nth term of this sequence. Part B, find the ninth term of the sequence. Term stands for n. So we are going to plug 9n for n into this equation. So that's a sub 9, meaning that's the ninth term is. 4 times 9 is 36 minus 16. That is a sub 9 is equal to 20. What that means is the ninth term of this sequence is 20. So go back up to the sequence. If we kept adding 4, we would eventually get to 20. So if we kept adding 4, what's after 0? 4. Add 4 again, we get a, then 12, then 16, and then 20. Term. This is the first term, this is the second, third, fourth term, fifth term, sixth term, seventh term, eighth term. The ninth term is 20. You can go and do that to check your work to make sure you did the formula correctly. Example 4a, write the equation for the nth term of the arithmetic sequence. Again, we need to write the formula. Anytime you use the formula, you must write the formula down every single time. And then it's just plugging into the formula. The first term is 1 plus n, we don't know, minus 1 times d, our difference, is 9. So now I'm going to do the distributive property. That's 9n minus 9. Combine like terms. And so my formula, or my equation for the nth term of this sequence is a sub n is equal to 9n minus 8. Now we can answer some questions about the sequence. Example B says find the 12th term. Again, term stands for n. So wherever I see n, I'm going to plug in 12. So that's a sub 12, meaning the 12th term is 9 times 12 minus 8. 9 times 12 is 108 minus 8. So that is saying the 12th term is 100. Example C, which term of the sequence is 172? So again, term stands for n. So this time around, we are looking for n, and they're giving us the answer. That would be your a sub n. So we're going to plug in into this equation. Our a sub n is 172. And we don't know our n. So we're going to add 8. Running out of room, I'm going to write it over here. That's 180 is equal to 9n. Divide by 9, and we get 20 is equal to n. That means the 20th time that we keep adding 9, we're going to get 172. Here's 2 problems from your worksheet. Let's work these 2 problems together. It says write an equation for the nth term of the sequence. Okay, again, we write the formula. A sub n is equal to a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. Our a sub 1, our first term, is negative 3 plus n minus 1 d. Now we have to calculate our d. From negative 3 to negative 8, I had to subtract 5. From negative 8 to negative 13, I had to subtract 5. So I'm going to have to subtract 5. Now if you just put minus 5 like that, it looks like you're subtracting 5. You're not subtracting 5, you're multiplying by a negative 5. So we have to put it in parentheses. Now we have to do the distributive property. Negative 5 times n is a negative 5n. And negative 5 times a negative 1 is a positive 5. So that's a sub n is equal to negative 5. Combine your like terms and get a, negative 5n plus 2. So that is your answer. Number 10, again, I'm going to write the formula down. My first term is negative 11. And my d. From negative 11 to negative 14, we had to subtract 4. From negative 15 to negative 19, we had to subtract 4. So my common difference is a negative 4. And again, I have to enclose it in parentheses. Now we're going to do the distributive property. Negative 4 times n is a negative 4n. So I don't write plus a negative 4n. I could if I wanted to, but really and truly it's just minus 4n. And then negative 4 times a negative 1 is a positive 4. So combine like terms, that's negative 4n. Negative 11 plus 4 is a negative 6. Oh, excuse me, negative 7. Okay, let's look at number 16 on your worksheet. It says the 4th term of an arithmetic sequence is 8. If the common difference is 2, what is the first term? Okay, now, if in doubt, write the formula. You have no idea where to begin, always write a formula if you're using a formula. Now let's plug in what we know. It says the 4th term, that would be n, of an arithmetic sequence is 8. That's your a sub n. So my a sub n is 8. I don't know my first term, but my n is 4. The fourth term, 4 minus 1, and my common difference is 2. So that's 8 is equal to a sub 1 plus 4 minus 1 is 3 times 2 is 6. So we just subtract 6 on both sides, and we get 2 is equal to a sub 1. So that is your first term. Hope that helps.